Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nataya and this is Nasthetics, where I talk about topics that I care about and you should care about too if you choose. Today we are talking about why Grownish and A Different World should not be compared at all and are not even on the same level. And y'all already know what team I'm on with my Hillman crew neck on today. So I'm going to give a little background of A Different World, and you'll hear me calling A Different World ADW during this video because it's just too much to keep saying A Different World. So A Different World is ADW, just to let y'all know. And just a little background about the two shows. So A Different World, if you don't know, if you've never seen it before, it's a spin-off of The Cosby Show, and it aired between 1987 and 1993, and it follows the daughter in The Cosby Show, Denise, who is played by Lisa Bonet. It follows her as she goes to an HBCU called Hillman College. And after season 1, Lisa Bonet isn't in the show anymore because of personal reasons of stuff going on in her personal life. And then the following seasons of A Different World, they focus on Dwayne and Whitley, and then also just generally the life and the experiences of Black students attending an HBCU. Now, Grownish, on the other hand, is a spin-off of Blackish. And Blackish, the daughter, one of the daughters in that show, Zoe, who was played by Yara Shahidi, she is the star of Grownish, and Grownish follows Zoe as she enters a local college in California, and it follows her life as she's navigating through like mistakes and challenges as she's trying to, you know, go through undergrad. And it's in this 4th season right now, and it has been renewed for its 5th season for Grownish. And I'm going to talk about why these shows should not be compared, because there is no comparison between these two shows. Hillman College and then whatever college that we're going to in California, there's just no comparison. So first I want to talk about what prompted me to talk about this topic. So basically, I saw this post by the Hillman Files on Instagram, which was kind of comparing the similarities between Grownish and A Different World. And I'm gonna screen share my, I'm acting like I'm on Zoom. I'm gonna screen record my phone, and then I'm gonna put it on the screen just so y'all can see the post. Okay, so basically, like, this post, it wasn't trying to say that Grownish is a replica of A Different World. I understand the Hillman Files wasn't trying to say that, but still, like, point out the similarities. So this first slide, you see like how in A Different World, that's on the left, Dwayne and Whitley, like, Dwayne is like helping Whitley zip up her pink dress, and then on the other hand, on the other side, on the right side, Zoe, her ex-boyfriend Luca, is helping her zip up her pink dress, which is similar to Whitley's. And then we go to like the third slide, where Grownish they created their theme song to play homage to A Different World. So if you've ever seen the intro to A Different World and how it kind of like switches between like different scenes, Grownish did that as well, and they was trying to, like, you know, just pay homage to A Different World. And then the 4th slide, it says, I've always said that Grownish is this generation's A Different World, and this season right here is showing me I was right. And then also Kadeem Hardison, he guest starred on Grownish this past season that just left off. So that's it for that post, and that's basically what inspired me to create this video and talk about this. But there are definitely similarities between Grownish and A Different World, but the reason why, there are many reasons why Grownish and A Different World are not on the same level. So first, let's talk about what Grownish is about. Grownish is really about Zoe making stupid mistakes, about making mistakes in college that she could really avoid, and that she just I don't know, it's really centered around Zoe, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I actually do like the show Grownish, and when I first watched the show, like as a sophomore in college, the first season of Grownish is about Zoe trying to pick between 3 different dudes and figure out which one she wants to be her boyfriend. And it's like, you cannot compare that to A Different World if you've ever seen A Different World before. Like, I love, you know, seeing the tea and all of that and the drama and Grownish, and seeing, you know, trying to figure out who Zoe gonna pick. You know, I was on the edge of my seat trying to figure out who Zoe was gonna pick season 1. But when you look at A Different World, it encompasses so much more than just what Zoe is doing over on Grownish. Like, A Different World, they actually talked about real world topics on their show. On Grownish, they only touch on the topics very surface level. Like, the main character that actually touches on like social justice topics and black issues is the character Aaron. He's the main one and one of the only ones that really talks about topics and is really doing the advocacy work on black issues. Everyone else in the cast is very just like ditzy when it comes to black issues, or sometimes they talk about it, sometimes they don't. But it's like, when they do talk about these topics, they don't go deep into these topics and have an actual deep conversation. On Grownish, it's a surface level conversation. Whereas on A Different World went deep into these topics. Like, A Different World had episodes on, actually A Different World was one of the first series on television, at least in America, to like air an episode about HIV AIDS, the HIV AIDS epidemic, because it was a stigma to talk about that, like in the late 80s, early 90s, especially in the black community. And A Different World was one of the first episodes to actually air and talk about HIV AIDS, and they actually went deep into that topic. And I have a video on me breaking down that episode if y'all want to check that out. But they talked about HIV AIDS. They talked about the LA riots. The LA riots were basically like, if you know about Rodney King, and how Rodney King was a unarmed black man in the 90s who got beaten by police. And this was before, like, you know, people had readily available camera phones. Somebody took their camcorder and recorded Rodney King getting beaten by police, and it got aired all over, you know, television. But all the police officers that were involved in that beating got let off. And then there were riots in LA, and A Different World touched on that topic. And also A Different World really encompassed like black love, and not just between like just one couple on the show, like Dwayne and Whitley, but also the other couples on the show. We see Freddie and Ron, we see Kim and her Jamaican boo, like I don't remember his name, but it really encompassed like black love on A Different World. And whatever Zoe got going on with Aaron, that is not black love. It's not even like, it don't even seem like real love. Like, when you look at A Different World and you actually look at Dwayne and Whitley's relationship, specifically talking about them, like, you feel the love through the screen. At least I do. I don't know if that's because it's my favorite show and I'm biased, but you feel the love through the screen. And yes, Dwayne and Whitley had their ups and downs, just like Aaron and Zoe are having their ups and downs, but you actually feel the love. Like, when I see Zoe and Aaron, I don't really feel anything. Like, I actually feel like I connect with Dwayne and Whitley when I watch A Different World, and it makes me feel warm inside, like, watching them. And it makes me even miss my own boyfriend when I watch A Different World. So it's like A Different World like actually makes you get into your feelings and makes you feel something, whether that's about black issues or whether that's about black love. A Different World actually makes you feel something. Grownish, like I said, it's very surface level. It don't make you feel anything. It doesn't have the substance that A Different World has. And A Different World, like, as I said, it aired between 1987 and 1993. It's a classic show, and the fact that we're coming up on 30 years of this show like being off the air, and you can literally go and watch an episode of A Different World today and it will still be prominent. The same issues that are going on in the Black community, you can go and watch an episode of A Different World, and it'll still be relatable. It'll feel like you're not even watching a show that has been off the air for 30 years. Grownish, once this show is over, and I don't know if their 5th season is going to be their final season. A Different World had 6 seasons. That show just it's gonna go away. It's not, to me, it's not a classic. It's not a classic show. It's not a show that within 5 years, 10 years is going to be memorable. But with A Different World, that show is still very memorable, and I feel like it will always be memorable. It will always be that show. Grownish, it's just gonna go away. Once the show is over, it's over. Like, it's not gonna go into the classic level of Black shows. And I don't even know if I could say that for Blackish either. Blackish, I think, was good in the beginning of the seasons, but like these later seasons, I'm just like, I'm not feeling Blackish either. And I think that Grownish really tries too hard to be on the same level as A Different World. As you can see, like, the similarities, and how Grownish does try to like show that, yeah, we're paying homage to A Different World. I feel like they're really just trying too hard. Like, it's like, sweetheart, you will never be on the same level as A Different World. You will never get there. As much as you're trying to be like A Different World and show that, like, oh yeah, like, we're this generation's A Different World. No, you're not. You are not. I think Grownish really tries too hard to be similar to A Different World, because it's, I don't know, it's just not there. You're just not it. You're just not that show. Like, it is what it is. Sadly, it is what it is. And with Kenya Barris, like, also the whole issue of Grownish and Blackish, and comparing Blackish and Grownish to the Cosby Show and A Different World. I think that the shows definitely do reflect the times, because like with the Cosby Show, of course, that was an actual like Black family, and then with Blackish, it's a semi-Black family, but more so with light-skinned you know, characters. You know, Bo, who was played by Tracy Ellis Ross, she is a biracial woman with a Black man who has, you know, a couple dark-skinned children and then 2 light-skinned children. And it's like, with Cosby Show, there was one, you know, the light-skinned daughter, Lisa Bonet. The Cosby Show was more of a representation of like an actual Black family. And then Kenya Barris, it seems like he likes to create shows that show that ambiguous Black family where it's like mixed, but at the same time, like I said, it represents the times, because as we do go on, as time passes, there are more biracial and mixed people in the world today compared to when the Cosby Show was created. And I think that the shows Blackish and Grownish are more so, they show more of like, I don't know, like the mixture, the life of like biracial and Black people, whereas A Different World and the Cosby Show really just showed Black culture for the most part, but did include biracial people as well. A Different World, like I said, was set at an HBCU. So of course it's going to represent Black culture. You know, they had representation of Black sororities and fraternities on A Different World. They had step teams. They had all type of stuff that you see at an HBCU. Of course, we're not going to see that on Grownish at a school, at a predominantly white institution. So that's another thing that I'm like, you can't compare the two, because like I said, Hillman and A Different World really represented Black culture. Grownish does not represent Black culture at all. Like it does, like I said, with Aaron, the work that Aaron does, and how he had like this initiative for like Black Minds Matter. But like I said, Aaron is the main person that's doing the stuff, the advocacy on Black issues. Whereas at A Different World, at Hillman, like all the characters were encompassed in issues affecting the Black community. Like it wasn't just one character doing the advocacy work. And A Different World really was encompass like Black excellence as well, because you see Kim, she was looking to go into the medical field and she was becoming a doctor. Freddie, she was going to become a lawyer. She was going to law school. Dwayne, he was into mathematics, engineering. He ended up creating a game system for a company in Japan and ended up going to live there, him and Whitley, you know. So it's like all these Black people in A Different World were really encompassing Black excellence while also focusing on Black issues. They all at one point shared their opinions on Black issues and showed their advocacy towards Black issues. Whereas on Grownish, yeah, we see Zoe and some other characters kind of get involved with Aaron's work, but it's like he's the main one leading it. It seems like on A Different World, everyone is involved in leading these initiatives and engaged in these conversations, whereas Aaron is the one engaged in the conversations on Grownish, and then people kind of follow. But no, on A Different World, it's like we all in this together. And maybe that's an HBCU thing because everyone there is, the majority of the people there are Black, so you all have that same experience and can draw from that and just can relate to each other. So that's all I have to say about my opinions on why Grownish and A Different World should not be compared. Like I said, they're just not on the same level at all. A Different World is a classic. Grownish is not, and let's just keep it at that, okay? Let's stop comparing the two shows because they are not comparable. And if you have never watched A Different World, definitely go check it out. It's on HBO Max now. It used to be on Amazon Prime. It used to be on Netflix at one point. It's just hopping from all the streaming services. But definitely go watch A Different World if you have never watched it before. And if you've never watched it, season 1, you got to get through season 1 and then it gets better. It gets better after season 1. Anyone who has watched A Different World all the way through knows that season 1 is kind of like okay, and then Debbie Allen stepped in, and season 2 through 6 is like amazing. So thank y'all for watching this video. If you have your opinions on Grownish and A Different World, let me know your comments in the comment section below, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.